Alright, welcome back everyone. Unfortunately, I was unable to secure 2 days off in a row this week. Circumstances being what they were, I'm going out with some family on Saturday for dinner because it's my birthday. So I had to request Saturday off, and they had already scheduled me last week for Wednesday through Sunday. And then they tried to give me this coming weekend off, but that would mean 10 straight days of working. Now, that's fine with me, but it's not fine with Uncle Sam, unfortunately. You only have a certain number of hours you can work each week before you have to take 34 hours off before you can drive a truck again. You know, it's all about making sure you're not driving tired. So, long story short, they had to give me today, Monday off, and I got Saturday off, and then I have to work Sunday when they originally gave me Sunday off. So, that's neither here nor there. That's just the circumstances of life, I guess. So, I'm going to take Monday and do a few odd jobs on the Queen and get her ready for the next chance I have to actually take her somewhere. And the first thing I'm going to do is install my new rack fan. If you recall from my last video, the fan I purchased didn't work. It may have been defective, or it may be the fact that it was the wrong fan. This one is specifically made for RVs. See, little RV on there. But it's still called the same thing. It's called the Multi-Purpose Rack Fan by Titan, same company as the other one. But yeah, this one is specific for RVs. And on the back, right up here at the top where it's English, it says auto temperature control, so under 20 Celsius. Now I noticed that this thing isn't, this thing probably isn't made in America because it's got Celsius as the main temperature measuring system. But they convert it to Fahrenheit for us stupid Americans who still use the ridiculous Fahrenheit system. Anyway, so under 20 Celsius or 68 degrees Fahrenheit, the fans are turned off automatically when you put it in the auto setting. See, it's got the little auto button right there. So that means when the refrigerator is off, the fans are effectively off if you don't turn them off yourself. 68 degrees to 113 degrees Fahrenheit, auto temperature control, which means it adjusts the speed of the fan and on and off as necessary. And then above 113 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what the temperature is going to be on a hot day if the fridge is on, fans operate automatically at maximum speed. You also have 6 levels of manual speed control, waterproof fan for all environments, rack hook design for easy installation. We're going to see if that works on my vent or not. And equipped Titan exclusive 9-blade silent fans for quiet operation. So that was one of my big concerns when I was ordering a fan. I didn't want something real noisy. But these supposedly are silent, so that should be interesting. So let's take them out of the box and make sure they work and then install them. Yeah. Okay, so I've gone and wired the controller right into the battery. It confused me at first. I couldn't get it to work, and I realized that they changed the color of the wires. Black is supposed to be positive, but for some reason they put it as negative. So when I wired it with the black on the positive terminal, it wouldn't turn on. So I switched the wires, and it's working. So you got 2 different settings. You got auto, which controls this fan based on the temperature. And right now it's about 70-something degrees, mid-70s today. So it's higher than the 68 degree minimum. So the fan is on, but it's on very low. You can't even really feel the air moving. So if I turn it off of auto, turn the auto off and then put it on manual. See, it's got full power right now. It's moving a lot of air. I can feel a lot of air going through there. And you can hear the fan, but I don't think it would be loud enough to cause a problem. Once it's inside the compartment there behind the fridge, I'm not going to be able to hear it from inside. Yeah, that's moving a lot of air. If I turn it down to low, I can't hear anything. I'm standing right next to it and I can't hear it. So I'm pleased with it. I think it's going to work just fine. So I'll go ahead and turn it off. And the plan now is to, next thing, I've got to figure out where I'm going to mount the fan, specifically in here. And then I got to run the wires down, and depending on where, I'm yet to figure that out, I'm going to somehow drill through here and hopefully get the wires to come out here and actually mount the controller right here. That's my plan, is to mount the controller here. I just got to figure out how to run the wires. So that is the next step. Well, actually, the next step is mounting it, then wires. Here's how I mounted the fan. It comes with these little hook brackets that actually grip onto the vents quite nicely. I wasn't sure how well it was going to work, but it actually works well. And I had to put it, you see, you got these verticals right here. I had to put the two fans right on one of those verticals. I had to decide which one. And because you got the hot stack, I don't know what this part is called, but this is where most of the heat comes from, comes up this way. So when I'm testing my fridge to see whether or not it works, I've always just put my hand right up in this corner, because this is where you can feel most of the heat coming out. So I decided to put the fan in that same area as well. Now when I turn the fan on, you can see the fans running in there. But because this is sloped downward, obviously to keep water out, you can't really feel any air coming out this way. But when you put your hand down here, you can feel a lot of air flowing sort of at an angled direction. So the vent itself is going to create a little bit of resistance, but I don't think it's going to cause a problem. I mean, these fans are kind of made for that. So let me turn this back off, because there's another idea I have. Okay. As you can see, these fans are held together with these little brackets and screws, which means if you take these screws off and brackets off, you can take these fans apart. You can actually mount them separately. So I was thinking maybe mount one fan on the grate and then another fan down here blowing upward. So it blows up and then gets sucked out. That idea seems better to me. So you have one fan blowing air directly through these fins, and then another fan over here sucking a majority of the heat out of the chamber outside. Yeah, you know what? The more I think about that, the more I like the idea. I have to figure out a way to mount the second fan, though, because these little brackets it comes with would only work for the vent mount. So I'd have to come up with something for down here. I mean, I could zip tie it directly to these fins, I suppose, but maybe they'd get too hot. I'm not sure. Okay, I got some thinking to do. I'll get back with you. Okay, so here's what I've done. I've gone ahead and separated the fans. I put one in the middle up high, and then the second one I've actually used some galvanized strapping and screwed it right there. So now, put this down here. Sorry, okay. It moves a little bit. If I touch it, it wiggles, but not much. I don't think that's going to be a problem, because obviously if we're moving, the fan isn't going to be on. I'm only going to turn it on when I'm parked, so, well, I might turn it on when I'm driving, but the point is I don't think this little bit of movement is going to cause a problem, and if I find that it does, I can attach more straps back here, but I wanted to avoid screwing into the back of the fridge. I just didn't know if that would cause any kind of problems. I don't think it would, but I don't want to take a chance, so I went ahead and just used these. They're nice and stiff. I can probably upgrade these to something even more rigid if I find the movement is too much. But the point is that this fan will be blowing air up through, and then the fan mounted here will be sucking the air out and blowing it out. So that will be constant cycling air through here and helping the fridge. So now I just got to wire it up, and yeah, it should work. Okay, so here's the more or less finished product. This wire right here is actually the temperature sensor. So basically this senses all the heat in the area and tells the fan when to turn on and off. So basically it's going to be on most of the time with that thing there. But that's the way I want it, really. So anyway, that one runs along here. This is actually the gas line for the stove. And then I just used zip ties. And here's the power wire that goes to the fans, and it Y's off right here. It comes to here and plugs in, and then this goes to one fan and this goes to the other fan that'll be mounted on the grate. And then it comes down here like this, runs along here, and then it goes through to right there where the control is going to be. This came with a little bit of 3M double-sided tape, and it looks like it's holding pretty well. I just had to unscrew this piece of molding here to drill through behind it. The molding got a little jacked up in the process, but no big deal. And the power wire I still have to secure better, but it's going to basically just run down in here and tuck in here and just be wired directly into the battery. So, oh, what's with this camera now? Seriously, there we go. Yeah, so that's just going to be wired directly to the battery, and the stair is going to go back here where it belongs, and you're basically only going to see this little bit. This is pretty much all you're going to see. So I'm happy with that. I think it's gonna look good. And now I just got to put the grate back on and be done. But we can't really test it until we go back camping again. So hopefully that'll be soon. I have one more thing I want to do today, and I'll get back to you as soon as I finish this up. Okay, so the other thing I did was I put the carpet down on the steps and up here. I didn't put any here because I didn't have enough, but also because I'm actually going to put like a little dog bed here for him. So no need to put carpet there, but I couldn't find my stapler, so I just went ahead and glued them down. I put these, heavy things on there to keep them pressed down while the glue dries. And I did one more thing today that I want to show you. If you may recall, in my very first trip video when I was heading up to the cottage, the cruise control stopped working randomly and then started working again. Well, I found the reason was that the brake pedal was sagging, and it would sort of sit down like this, and it's not enough to actually apply the brakes, but it was enough to hit the switch to disable the clutch or the cruise control. So I kept having to hold the pedal up with my foot, and then obviously I can't keep that up forever, so I'd let go and it would work most of the time, but then we'd hit a heavy bump and it would do like that and the cruise would shut off. So what I did was, if I can get this camera to angle up enough, yeah, can you see right here? I put a couple of screws in. Oh, I can't really get a good shot of it. I put a couple of springs in, right here, like a throttle cable spring that I went and got from Advance Auto, and I hooked it onto the brake pedal and connected it to the steering column bracket, and that's actually going to hold the brake pedal up, but not going to hold it enough that I can't press the brake effectively. So that's going to work quite well, I think. Won't know for sure until I actually damn cottonwood, until I actually take another trip. Ice cream truck. So anyway, it's getting on to past 5 o'clock now, and we got plans tonight, so I gotta finish up here and call it a day. Hope you all enjoyed it. If any of you have older refrigerators, I highly recommend this kind of modification. I'm optimistic about how well it's gonna work. I'm looking forward to trying it out. So that's all for today. Take care, everybody.